Helo, agos fel se program a ketha. Andou a iska lita. Hai grinig a vuur a gepelt is iska gluisid. Or in English, hello and welcome to episode 4. Today I'm fishing the water of Leith. It's quite overgrown, as you can see. I'm doing this down here because it's very urbanised up there. There's a road bridge and a very busy road full of buses, cars and people. So I'm down here doing this just so I don't look like a nutter talking to myself. I passed by here just the other day, and just down amongst in here, a little stretch there, I saw a few what looked like good fish rising, so I'm going to go across the other side of the bridge. I think I can get in the water there. I'm going to have to go under this bridge. Oh, the water doesn't look very deep, so it should be okay to wade up there and I can get into where I want to go. But I think I've found myself at a bee's nest where I am, so I'm going to get out of here and I'll come back when I've got when I'm in the water. Okay, as per usual, the dreaded technical problem struck and I have no audio for this part recorded, so I'll just talk you through what I'm doing. Although it's pretty self-explanatory, I suppose. I'm just wading upriver here, trying to find the best way to get across. The water, as you can see, is very low, but it was very, very slippery and I didn't want to fall over, mainly because I didn't want to make a fool of myself, but partly because with the water being so low there'd be nothing to cushion my fall and I would fall quite hard onto some very sharp rocks. So I'll just wander over. So I found a little bit here which looks like the best way to get across, although it's not very stable. You can see I'm jerking around here a lot because I'm slipping from one rock to the next and I'm moving underfoot. It was absolutely a nightmare to get up here. You can see here ahead of me there's a Anthony Gormley statue, one of the Iron Men statues. They're all over the UK. If you're in the UK, you've undoubtedly saw one of these somewhere. I had a little dig on Google to see what it's actually for, and it's not for anything. It gets used as a water gauge, which is, I kind of like the idea of, using like the anatomy of a human to gauge the depth of the river. You can see there from the sandbank on the left where the river would normally be if it was at full height. But I just like the idea of, rather than using, the gauge stick, how deep's the water? It's up to the Iron Man's knees, or it's up to his parts, I kind of like that. Plus, it's a talking piece. Although, the way YouTube is, I'll probably get this video taken down for nudity. It's ridiculous some of the way they apply some of the rules. So, it's very silty here, and there's a piece of road from the old road that they've just dumped into the river and they've built the new road. So what looks like quite stable, you can see it there sticking up the corner of it. It's a huge slab of tarmac, probably about 15 feet long, and you think, oh, caught a fish. There it goes, waffling on there, and I've got myself a wee fish. I saw this fish the other day, and this is one of the fish I was targeting. You could see a rise at the very beginning of the video in front of me. So here I've got no idea how big this fish is at all, but it doesn't feel too bad. And well, you'll see in a moment when I get it out. It's one of what I call the little river fighters, In these small rivers the fish get up to maybe half a pound, but they're absolutely solid little scrappers. Absolutely great fun to catch, and it's a good indication of the health of the river when you've got a fish like small and chunky and solid muscle that can put up a good fight like that. So there you go. Bigger than I expected, but not a big fish by any means. But we'll leave it here, and the audio comes back on in a moment, so thanks for listening. Okay, so got that away no problem. I think I'm having a wee issue with my camera, and I'm not sure if that recorded the audio. There's a weird wee glitch with the software that you have to turn audio capture off to turn it on, and if you turn the camera off it resets itself. So if there was no audio on that, apologies, and you'll just have had to put up with my voiceover. So I was going to turn back because I'm not sure I can get out of the river anywhere up here, but I saw a fish rising just up here, and given the size of that one I caught just there, I'm thinking, is it worth maybe going a wee bit further up? Not that size is the motivation or the driving factor, it's just nice to know there are kind of decent sized fish in the river. But as pretty as it looks, I think I'm going to get stuck here, and I don't fancy spending, you know, an hour going upriver just to discover that I have to spend the same hour going back down again. So I think discretion's a better part of valour here. I'll see if that fish rises again. If it does, I'll have a cast at it. If not, I'll see you up at the next pool. Right, well, being as I never got much audio, I don't think, from the last wee bit of filming, I'll have a wee chat to you here as I walk up the river. So waiting on people going past so I don't look like a nutter, but I'm cutting around in like chest waders and a camera strapped to me. I think it's a wee bit too late to be worrying about that. So as you can see, it's very built up here, very urbanised, but there's still a lot of the old historic buildings, bridges and monuments and so on. As you'll see more of them as we go upriver, and there's the bridge itself, which is a hugely impressive structure. This was once the home of rich merchants and minor nobles and the like, and it's still one of the more affluent areas of the city. But we're going to go up to, there's a wee kind of a piece of fast water I saw the other day. There's a wee recce. I walked up and down this bit, so we're going to go up there. It's quite easy to get into, I think. There's like stairs down, but from there I'm not sure. So we'll go through the arch here, and I'll catch up with you when I get there. This is where I wanted to come to. I'm not sure what that is. It's a mausoleum or something. I'll maybe do some research later. But yeah, this is, well, sadly the water's probably too low. I wanted to fish this seam down here, because it looks like it's a hold fish. It's quite shady, the water's quite fast, but I think it's probably too low. But no matter. There's another pool further up, which I'm really desperate to fish actually. I saw it the other day and it looks like it was built for somebody. It looks natural, but it looks like it was built out of natural materials. So I'm hoping there's no one there. See, I haven't seen anybody on the river fishing it at this bit the few times I've walked up and down, and so I don't think it's a very popular river. I think because it's free and it's in the city centre and it's so urbanised, no one really fishes it or takes it seriously. But there's definitely fish in it. So we'll have a wee wander up and see what we shall see. Well, just as a wee addition there, there's a inscription on the wall that says St Bernard's Mineral Well. So there you go. I thought it was a mausoleum or something, but it turns out it's a well. Why they need a well so close to a river, I don't know. Never mind. So we've come up to the other side of the mineral well, and there's a little sort of ad hoc path to take me up the left hand side there. The water's still quite low here, but there's a nice pool just the other side of that little croy. So I'm going to have a walk up there. I'll just take you with me rather than stopping and starting all the time. Oh, for anybody that doesn't know, a croy is either a natural or man-made intrusion into the river, like a weir that doesn't go quite all the way across. So that's kind of a croy there into a little weir. But yeah, it's a nice place to be, you know. I think back in the olden days, this was very popular with, you know, courting couples and the like, and it's been maintained as somewhere, obviously as a source of drinking water and so on, but as a kind of a little oasis in the city. I mean, it's noisy now, but you can imagine what it'd be like when it was all horse-drawn carts and you were knee-deep in horse dung. This had been just a little escape for both the great and the good and the workers. So, yeah, it reeks of money, you know, old money that built this for their own enjoyment. Not complaining, you know. It's a lovely place in the city centre for me to go fishing. Right, now this looked like it would hold fish. A wee bit of David Bellamy here, just get my way through the jungle. Now, sadly with the water so low, I don't think this is going to be holding as many fish as I hoped. Maybe up at the top of the pool here, up at the head, there may be a couple. But I think there's one right there. See, I always speak too soon and say there's nothing here just as a fish makes itself known. So I'll have a couple of casts over it, although I think the water is too slow and it's not going to fall for it, but it's always worth a go. So I've got this bloody net in my way. I'm going to have to do something about that. As I said, I don't know if I lost the audio from the beginning of this, but I dropped my net the other day somewhere on the River Almond, so I've got a new net, but I lost a little magnetic clip that holds it to the back of my backpack. There's another fish there, so definitely worth a cast in here. So yeah, my net's kinda, just flapping around and getting in my way. I'll need to buy another little magnetic clip thing, put it in its proper place. Right, okay, so there's two fish here that I can see. So I'll have a few casts, but as I say, I think the water's probably too slow and they're going to get a good look at my fly and they're going to reject it. Well, as expected, neither of those fish were impressed with my casting. Not surprised. So it's a place to remember though, because if the water's up a little faster, maybe this looks like it'd be a nice little seam to fish. So I'm going to move on up. There's another little pool up here, but I think they're probably too shallow to fish, probably too fast. So it's just going to be a nice walk. But I know there's a couple of pools up here that I do want to fish, so I'm just going to make my way up, being careful on these rocks. I don't know if I'm going to leave it in, but there was a kind of older gentleman, you know, the kind of grey hair, Pringle sweater and slacks kind of guy, who was walking up and watching me fishing, and he slipped on the rock and he so nearly went in. It was like out of a cartoon, you know, where he's got a hold of a branch and his feet are kicking out underneath him. But it's probably mean-spirited and unfair to put that in. So I expect I will, because that's just the sort of person I am. So I don't want to laugh too hard, because the same thing's probably going to happen to me at some point today. But never mind. So I'm not sure what to do here. It looks like there might be a wee path on that side to take me up. This side here looks like I'll have to come down here, up and along these rocks. I'm not sure what's on that side, but that does look like a path. But that water's maybe a little too fast to cross safely, because I don't know how slippery it is at the bottom there, and I haven't watched that silly old fool. yeah, I'm not going to even try and cross there. So I'll carry on up this side and I'll catch up with you when I get to, can you see there's that structure? It looks like a little kind of weir pool there. So I'm going to make my way up there, so I'll be back in a minute. Well, that was a complete waste of time. I thought the bit I was pointing out there to come up would be a good place to go fishing or even go for a walk, but the water's really fast there, like almost rapids, and really shallow, so there was no fish in there, and again it was just really slippery, so I decided not to. Oh, somebody behind me, talking to myself, but never mind. So I've come up here. I don't know what this pool's called. I'm just going to call it the grotto pool because it looks like it's been made for people to come and sit. Maybe somebody's garden or their land at some point. But there's a few people around me, so just need to be careful where I'm casting and just accept that I'm going to look like a lunatic talking to myself. But I saw a wee fish rising just here, and I'm going to have a cast over that just to see what it is and what kind of size it is, because this looks like it's probably going to hold fish, and that up there almost certainly does. Right, okay. I was just about to change my fly there, thinking I'm not going to catch anything on this when there's a big hatch of midges and I've got a little kind of brown mothy looking thing on, but there you go, got one. Not as big as the last one, but still not a bad wee fish. Thanks for playing. Off you go. Right, I'll just keep that fly on then. Partly as again, I'm too lazy to change it. But I'm going to have a wee break, rearrange myself, and then we'll get back to it. I took a wee break for lunch there and I've been watching the river, and the fish are definitely coming up for the tiny little midges that are hitting the surface. So I've changed onto a little black fly pattern, the smallest one I have in my tackle box. It's about a size 16 little black fly, which hopefully looks enough like the midges. I mean, I did catch that one on the whatever it was I was fishing, but that was one fish out of 4 or 5 that I was targeting, so that was just pure luck, I think. So I've shifted onto the little black fly pattern, and I'll see if any of these fish will come up for it. Terrible casting again. Just because I see there's a guy still sitting behind me reading his book, and I'm being really conscious that I don't have catching him, so I thought he had his headphones in and I'm chatting away at the camera. Turns out he took them off as soon as he sat down, but he saw the funny side. He doesn't seem to mind me chatting away at myself. Got it. Oh, again, it's not a very big one, but a decent fight. So I was right to switch onto the little black fly then, because it certainly wasn't interested in what I was fishing before. Okay, right, let's see you. Wet my hand. That's again a little kind of standard river quarter pounder. So thanks for playing and see you later. Right, so I'm going to move up the pool a little bit. There's a huge big cloud of midges I've just been blown on into the water. So, and I saw a couple of fish rising in the kind of the faster and deeper water there. So let's go and see what's happening. Right, so I've come up to the head of this pool, and there's I don't know if the camera will pick it up, there's an absolutely huge cloud of midges all the way down there. They're all moving upstream, they're about 30 feet long, there's thousands and thousands of them. So I'm going to cast into there, because if I can see them, I'm sure the fish can see them. Hang on a second here, I think I'm running out of... Nah, I'm grand. I thought I was running out of space on my card there on the camera, but I'm okay. Right, so let's have a cast out and see what's what. Okay, right, I've taken the camera off, just got it in my hand here so I can show you where we are. That's the Dean Bridge. Not the best view from where we are, but I hope you can get a sense of the scale of the thing. It's absolutely huge. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings. I don't know anything about its history, but it is impressive, eh? So there you go. So what we want to do, I'll just turn you around, is we're going to try and get upriver a little. There's a little island there, just at the top of this little waterfall, and there's some structure up there too. So I'm going to go up there and see if I can get into the weir pool, which is further up. So I think this pool's dead for now, so I'll catch up with you back up there. See you in a bit. Well, this is the weir pool, and as you can tell, very, very noisy here. Very, very noisy indeed. I'm not sure how to fish this, or even if I should fish it, to be honest with you. It's very deep. There's a great big deep shelf goes right down there. I can't tell how deep it is, but it's at least, I would say, 6, 7, 8 feet from what I can see. So it's going to be sketchy just to get a cast in from the bank. I wonder if it's, maybe I should change over to a nymph and just let it sink down and fish that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can get out of here except the way I came in. It wasn't difficult, but I don't want to have come all the way up to not even have a cast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the water for a couple of minutes, see if anything rises, and if not, I'll maybe put a wee like steel-headed nymph or something on, a wee bead, and drop it down and see if there's, well, there's definitely fish in the depths, but I don't know where they might be. So you'll either see me here fishing the nymph, or we'll be further downstream wrapping up the day. So as expected, I didn't see anything rising, so I put a couple of nymphs on, and I'm just trying to find the best way of getting them down into the water. But I'm not having much success. It is incredibly windy, incredibly noisy, and the water's moving really fast. So this may have been a mistake. So I'm going to call it a day there, I think. It wasn't worth fishing that weir. It's far too deep and noisy, and there's nowhere to stand to get a cast. You probably do best with spinners or worms or something there, but I don't know if that's even allowed on the river. But I caught 3 fish for a couple of hours on a new river, so I'll take that. There's a dog running riot up there having a great time. It's been jumping in and out of this pool, so I think this is probably the best time just to call it. It's a lovely place to be, if anything, if nothing else. You know, I've had a great day just enjoying the river. You know, and there's a fantastic looking bridge, and you know, the walkway and everything. So I'll stop waffling on now, because I know I do tend to waffle on, and it makes it difficult to edit my videos down. I talk a load of pish. So next week I'm going to try and head up the Howlocks over by the west coast, up the Kilpatrick Hills. I know some really good Howlocks up there that don't get fished at all. So hopefully, weather permitting, that's where I'm going to go. I've bought a wee cheap inflatable kayak to take with me, so maybe I'll take that, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on now. Cheerio and Drasta.